Hello, my Bill 1000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. All right, we are back with a new MrBallen video. What's that? This one is titled, "This Hospital Has a Disturbing Secret." If you ask me, almost every hospital has some sort of disturbing secret. I ain't good. Hospitals creep me the fuck out. All right. Before we get into today's story, just wanted to let everyone know, because evidently I thought I had said something about it on a previous video, but I don't think I ever did. If any of y'all are interested in supporting the channel, I do have a store. There's not a whole lot of selection going on right now, but I am still working on a few other designs and all that. Sometime after the first of the year, there will be more. I'll have more time at the beginning of the year to put a little bit more effort into it. Let's just put it like that. This time of year, it's just crazy busy around here. But the link is in the description for it. Starting tomorrow. Or no, well, for you all, technically today. There is a promo code called Holly Jolly for 20% off your order. So, I think, yeah, 20%. So go ahead, use that. And remember, Holly Jolly. All right. Oh, and I do have a P.O. box now. The address is down in the description as well. So go, give them a little check out. Keep an eye out on the store because, like I said, new merch will be popping up all the time. So right now, I do not have a whole lot of time to make new designs and get everything set up and ready and going. But starting at the first of the year, there will be new product up on there. All right, business is out the way. Let's get into the fun. All right, I'm excited for today's story. Just in the title, it has this like old school MrBallen, like from the beginnings. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, love it. All right, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get into this story. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, go up with someone special. Let's get intrigued. I feel intrigued tonight. Very intrigued.
In 2015, a startling discovery was made inside of this off-limits area inside of a prominent South African hospital. Now, at the time, no one really understood what this discovery meant, and so eventually people just kind of forgot about it and moved on. Until 2 years later, when another eerily similar discovery was made inside of another prominent South African hospital in one of their off-limits areas. I can't believe this story has not gotten more press because one, it's recent, and two, the implications of these discoveries are mind-boggling.
Okay, for one, what does he mean by off limits area in a hospital? Does he mean just like those areas where it says, personnel only? Or is it like literally like off limits to everyone and everything? Like it don't fucking matter who you is. It's just a no go. That worries me. I didn't know hospitals was allowed to have like no one can go there in any way, shape, or form areas, and I'm like, what's in there? I would say dead bodies, but I mean, you can go there. That I mean, it's a morgue. You go there, be like, yeah, I know that fool. You know?
But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please put coyote urine in the like button's apple juice. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads.
Coyote urine smells awful. Nobody wants to drink that shit. He would know what it was before it ever got to his lips. I hope. I pray to God. I don't know. Like button doesn't have a nose. Like button doesn't have lips either. I just poked holes in all this.
Okay, let's get into today's story.
this is my worst nightmare. The missing patients. Oh God, no. I don't want to. A lot of people in the world probably gonna laugh at me when I say it. I am scared to death of hospitals. Like it was a fight getting me to go in for my surgery a few months ago. I am petrified of hospitals. Hospitals and funeral homes. They scared the living bejesus out of me. No lie. I don't trust none of it. All I need is some like dead body rolling over and just like spewing malaria all up in my face or some shit. I ain't dealing with that. Mm-mm.
On October 4th, 2017, a 61-year-old father of six named Tatike Katsai arrived at a hospital in Stellenbosch, which is one of the richest towns in South Africa. Tatike, who lived in the area with his family, had been dealing with some stomach issues over the last several months, and so this day he was finally going in to have abdominal surgery to hopefully alleviate those issues. So, after entering the building, Tatike was checked in, and then before long he was transferred to the operating room where surgeons got to work on him. After the surgery was over, Tatike was transferred to a recovery room in the hospital where he was scheduled to stay for at least a couple of days so the doctors and nurses could watch over him while he recovered and make sure there was no complications from the procedure. And so, on the afternoon of October 4th, Tatike just kind of lounged around inside of his recovery room. He couldn't really do anything because of the incisions on his stomach, and so he mostly just laid in his bed, he watched TV, he relaxed, he ate, and then at some point,
That's how it was whenever I had my surgery. I had three incisions across my stomach, and it was the most awkward feeling in the world. They pump you full of this gas and all kinds of other shit. Like, and they're like, try not to use your abdominal muscles, and I'm like, okay, I can do that. I mean, how hard is it to not use your abdominal muscles? Bro, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You use your fucking abdominal muscles for every damn thing you freaking do. Like, you know how you just give that little oomph to go pee? Hurt. You felt weird. Just to blow a fart out your booty hole was the most excruciating pain, other than the actual surgery itself, that I'd ever felt in my life. So I get this, man. I get it. That's all you can do is just lay around and eat mashed potatoes.
some of his family members came into the hospital and they visited with him as well. By the end of that day, the day of his surgery, Tatike was definitely sore from the incisions, but overall, he was in good spirits, and to the medical staff, it seemed very likely that his surgery was a success. Early the next morning, at around 5:15 a.m., one of the nurses in the hospital went to Tatike's room to check on him. And when she went inside, Tatike was awake, he was alert, he seemed totally normal. And so after a brief conversation, the nurse told Tatike that she was just going to get him some fresh linens to make up his bed. And so Tatike nodded a thank you to her, and then the nurse, she turned away from Tatike, who's in his bed. She stepped out of the one door in the room into the hallway. She grabbed fresh linens off of a cart, and then she turned back around and went back into Tatike's room, except now Tatike was not in his bed. So the nurse immediately thought, okay, well then Tatike must have gone into his bathroom because the door was shut. He must be in the bathroom. Nope. And so just kind of reflexively, the nurse walked over to Tatike's now empty bed and replaced the linens. And then when she was done, she just looked at the bathroom door inside of his room, expecting Tatike to come outside and
Nope. Mm-hmm. Nope. No. No. Oh God. It's a legitimate fear, people. It's a legitimate fear. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. Where did he go? I don't even want to know where the fuck he went, because then I'm going to have nightmares forever. Okay.
minute. But after a couple of minutes passed and Tatike had still not come out of the bathroom, the nurse decided to go over and just knock. And so she walked over, she knocked on the bathroom door and just kind of called out.
Maybe he was like in there peeing. Like after I had my surgery, when they went through my I had the worst time trying to go pee pee. Worst time ever trying to pee pee. Maybe Maybe it was just taking a minute. Please, God, just let me taking a minute for him to go pee pee.
Out, hey, is everything okay in there? But there was no answer. And so the nurse eventually just tried the handle, and when she saw it was open, she called out that she was coming inside. She opened up the bathroom door, and it was empty. And so the nurse, she whipped her head around and looked back out at the room where Tatike should have been, and she saw, he's not on the bed, he's not under the bed, he's not anywhere in this room. Where could he have possibly gone? And she's thinking to herself, the only door out of this room is into the hallway, the same door that she had used to go out and get the linens. And if somehow Tatike had ran out of that door in the few seconds that her back was turned,
maybe he yeeted himself out the window. I don't know. I just don't want to know what actually happened. Like I'm literally like I'm already got the nervous sweats.
from Tatike, she certainly would have heard him or seen him, because again, she was right outside the door and only outside of his room for a couple of seconds. Not to mention the fact, Tatike has major incisions on his stomach and could barely stand, let alone walk or run. And so totally baffled, this nurse ultimately left the room and went and told her superiors.
We we all know what that sound is. That is the sound of a commercial. Let me give me a drink coffee here. Hmm. All right. You guys ready? You guys ready? I'm ready. Let's do it.
Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. In 2017, I left the military and pretty much right away, I fell apart. The military had provided a lot of structure in my life, and so suddenly not having that structure made me feel like I was lost. Pretty soon, I began resenting all the people around me just because they seemed happy and I wasn't. I sort of figured that these feelings of resentment and unhappiness would just kind of go away on their own, but they didn't. Eventually, with some encouragement from my family and my friends, I sought out a therapist. And quickly, my therapist diagnosed me with depression, something I really did not think I was. But after the shock of the diagnosis had worn off, me and my therapist were able to kind of go back in my life and figure out what was causing me to feel the way I was feeling, and before long, having that perspective really made me feel a lot better. Look, therapy is not for everyone, but it is a great starting point for people who just kind of feel lost and don't really know where to go. And so if that's you, I would highly suggest you give BetterHelp a try. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey, and then you can communicate with your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether that's text messaging, phone call, video call, chat, whatever you want. You can also switch therapists at any time for free. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/MrBallen. I've also linked them in the description below.
Not a funny one, but that was meant to be serious. Yeah, things like that do happen. And he's right. Therapy is not for everyone, but sometimes just talking to someone can help out tremendously. So definitely go down there, go to his channel, get on the video, use the link in the description, all that good stuff. Pause this video, grab that, do what you do. You need the help, it's out there, use it.
This hospital would immediately begin looking for Tatike on the grounds of the hospital, but they would do it kind of quietly. They wouldn't call Tatike's family to tell them that, hey, we can't find him, nor
And they ain't gonna call the family and be like, hey, you know your husband and father. Yeah, we know him quite well. Well, we lost him. What? I don't know. Someone left the door open. A cat ran by. He ran out the door. I mean, how would that conversation go? Well, we walked into his room to get him some sheets. We turned around after getting his sheets and he's gone. Well, where did he go? We don't know. If we knew, he wouldn't be lost no more. That would be the most awkwardest phone call you would ever make in your life. We lost your husband. How? The motherfucker's got like 3 gashes across his torso. Like, where the hell is he running off to? We don't know. There was someone right outside the door. He couldn't run out that. So, did he eat himself out the window?
Would they call police? And some have speculated that either one, the hospital did not think this was an emergency and they would quickly find Tatike and that everything would be fine, or two, the hospital was just so embarrassed at the idea that they lost a patient, they didn't want anyone to know, and so that's why they didn't tell anyone. Regardless,
I say maybe it was a little bit of both. I mean, they probably thought, hey, he's just wandering around somewhere. We'll find him. It's no big deal. And then somebody's probably like, man, if it is a big deal, that's gonna make us look fucking awful. Well, let's just keep it to ourselves from now. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
the hospital would search for Tatike all day on the 5th, the day he went missing, and they wouldn't find him. And then the next day, the 6th, the hospital again would spend the entire day quietly searching everywhere in the hospital, but they wouldn't find him again. And so finally, on the next day, the 7th, so 48 hours after Tatike had just kind of vanished inside of his room, the hospital would reach out to Tatike's family, and they would say to them, hey, is Tatike home with you guys? And the family was like, no, he's supposed to be with you. And so the hospital would say, well, he left 2 days ago, so we don't know where he is. And so
Okay, I get waiting a few hours, bro. But 2 days? A full 48 fucking hour, man. Fuck you. No. I would be pissed as shit. Like, I understand give it like an hour or two. You're probably going to find. More than likely. You don't need to wait 12 hours. You don't need to wait 8 hours. You don't need to wait 24. You don't need to. No. 2 hours is max. If you can't find someone within 2 hours, you need to call the family. Period. I mean, God's honest truth, they should have fucking called the family like soon as they couldn't find him within like 10, 15 minutes of not being able to find him. Do a quick sweep of the floor and then be like, all right, call the family, call the police. That's what they should have fucking done. But I was just trying to be, benefit of the doubt. A couple hours. A couple days? Damn, bro.
Tike's family is horrified not only that they were totally left in the dark, but they would find out over the course of this conversation that the hospital had not even contacted the police yet. And so the family, they reached out to the police, and then later that day, the family would
I'd be reaching out to the police and a lawyer. I would own me a motherfucking hospital. No lie, I would. And then I'd shut it down.
meet the police at the Stellenbosch hospital, and then a very public search of the property would ensue to look for Tatike. However, again, no one could find him. Authorities would continue to search both the hospital and also the neighboring area outside of the hospital over the next couple of days, but after they continued to find absolutely nothing, the search began to wind down. And so Tatike's devastated family was left with absolutely no idea what to think or what to do. Fast forward to October 20th, so 15 days after Tatike had gone missing. And on this day, the 20th, there was a construction crew at this hospital in Stellenbosch doing some renovations. And at some point on this day, one of the workers had to climb into the ceiling of one of the floors of this hospital. Now, the space above the ceiling is this tight, cramped space, almost like an attic. It's very big and wide. It's like the whole length of that floor. And really the only people that would ever go into the ceiling are construction workers or other authorized personnel that needed to do work. It's not a place that the public would ever go into. But when one of these workers went up into the ceiling, he had a headlamp on and he's kind of looking around. He's looking for what he needs to do up there. And at some point he turns his head and his light illuminates a person sitting in the corner far away from him, way up against the side in this tiny little attic space. And it would turn out it was Tatike, and he was deceased. The hospital had absolutely no clue how Tatike could have gotten up there. Not only is it obviously not a publicly accessible area, but the actual way to get up into the ceiling, the door that leads up into the ceiling, is very difficult to find. And even if Tatike found this entrance into the ceiling, it would have been nearly impossible for him to actually get into the ceiling. Because again, this guy has serious incisions on his stomach from the surgery he got. He could barely sit up. He couldn't really walk.
No, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. No. Ooh, I got the shivers. I got goosebumpies. I know. Mm-mm. This is like my worst fear come to fucking life. How is he up there? Because I imagine it's not one of those things you can just pull the door down, the ladder comes out, and you climb up. I imagine like you gotta unscrew a panel, slide it off, get a ladder, and go up there like that. This motherfucker's had surgery. He's got the incisions. He ain't up to doing this shit. I don't want to know what the fuck drug him up or down into that. It's my nightmare. No, no, I don't want to know. I gotta know.
So the idea of him climbing and pulling himself up into the ceiling just seems impossible. Then there was the very strange autopsy results. Now, the full report has not been made public, but Tatike's family had a consultation with the hospital after the autopsy was complete, and they would go to reporters and talk about what the hospital told them. And apparently, the hospital told the family that Tatike did not die from complications from his surgery, and they heavily insinuated that Tatike did not die from natural causes. Something happened to him, and the hospital had no idea what this something was, and that's what killed him. And the hospital also told the family that Tatike likely was dead before he went up into the ceiling. Meaning, someone or something killed Tatike, and then someone or something placed him in the ceiling. Again, this is just from the family going to reporters and talking about their discussion with the hospital. The hospital's only official statement has basically been that they have cooperated with the family and they don't really know what happened to Tatike. Now, of course, this is a very strange story, but it gets even weirder. On May 10th, 2019, so about a year and a half after Tatike was found deceased in the Stellenbosch hospital ceiling, a 53-year-old father of 4 named Sandile Sabia arrived at another hospital in South Africa. It was in a city called Durban, which is considered to be one of the nicest and wealthiest places in South Africa, similar to Stellenbosch. Sandile was a builder, and he had been working on a house when he had fallen and broken his leg. Specifically, he broke his femur bone, the bone that runs from your hip down to your knee, the big single bone in your thigh. So just for reference, if you break your femur, you can't walk. So, with some assistance from friends and family, Sandile hobbled his way into this hospital in Durban, and he began to receive care. 2 days later, on May 17th, Sandile was still in the hospital, still recovering from this broken femur, when his cousin came to visit him. The cousin said Sandile seemed totally normal, and that during this visit, Sandile told the cousin that after the cousin left, Sandile was going to be transported from this hospital to another hospital nearby, where he was going to get an x-ray of his leg, as well as talk to another orthopedic surgeon. But apparently, after this cousin left from this visit, the doctors at the Durban hospital walked into Sandile's room to take him and transport him to this other hospital, and Sandile was not in his room. Now, this hospital in Durban was known for their very tight security, and so right away, their reaction was very different than the Stellenbosch hospital's reaction. This hospital...
Oh, thank the... Heck yeah, at least they was on their shit. Those other fuckers at the other hospital, man, I'd sued them. I would sue them for everything. I would have owned the hospital, then I would have fired them all, and then I would have shut the hospital down, then I would have burnt it to the ground, and then I would have built another hospital and rehired new people and fired them and burnt it to the ground too. That's how pissed off I would have been.
Immediately contacted authorities and said, "We are missing a patient," and they began a very public search of their hospital for Sandile. But they couldn't find him. On May 18th, so 6 days after Sandile disappeared, the hospital in Durban began to smell this horrible stench coming from one wing of their hospital. And so hospital workers would track the stench to a janitor's closet, and when they opened it up, they saw this black liquid dripping out of the ceiling, and the liquid was coming from Sandile's decomposing body that was located in the ceiling. Sandile's autopsy would be carried out very quickly. However, the results of that autopsy
He was rotting in the ceiling. Eh. No. Oh God, no. I'm never going to the damn hospital ever again. I don't give a shit if I'm laying on the floor dying. I am staying my happy ass home. Thanks a lot, Mr. Ball. Another thing you have ruined. Baby Jesus. Oh, the fear of hospitals is legitimate, and this is not. This is this. Got the chills. I don't like it.
Have never been made public, and Sandil's family has not commented on the results of this autopsy. As of today, all we know is that within a 2-year period, two seemingly ordinary South African men, who both could either not walk at all or who could barely walk because of their physical injuries, somehow snuck out of their hospital rooms totally undetected by staff and then wound up dead in the hospital ceiling. Some say the men really did somehow sneak out of their own accord and decided to go into the ceiling, and that's what happened. Others say both men were murdered and then placed into the ceiling, and still others think these two cases are the best examples of something called spontaneous teleportation, which is the hypothetical phenomenon where a human suddenly disappears and then almost instantaneously reappears in another location. But for now, there is no official explanation, so those are all just theories. And so it's up to you to decide what you believe. So that's going to do it. If you got something out
Okay. I don't know what kind of weird ass teleportation shit that they're talking about is. It could happen. I don't know. Spontaneous combustion could happen too. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. Disappear. It's fucking Minecraft. All I know is, okay, for one, why did they go up into the attic? Okay? What was the reasoning behind it? I mean, if they went up there on their own accord, what was the reason they was like, bro, I'm gonna get this panel down. I'm gonna jump up in there and just chill in the attic. I don't really see that happening. It could, but my my opinion, I don't see that happen. Number two, what if it was murder? Because think about it. If they would have teleported from their nice little comfy bed to a shithole place in the attic, you're going to hear someone hollering. Because by God, I am going to be up there beating on the ceiling, hollering at the top of my lungs. I don't know what hospital ceilings are made out of, but I imagine it's probably like the same shit any other ceiling's made out of. I doubt it's like concrete everywhere, or it wouldn't be an attic. I'm busting through some drywall and some sheetrock, bro. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Like if I'm sitting up there, I'm dying. I am chewing through that shit like a rat. So I'm thinking they was dead before they was put up there, and I'm thinking it was the janitor people. Now I know what you're saying. Ew, you're being prejudiced against the janitorial staff. Hold on, hold on. Who are the one people no one really pays attention to? The janitorial staff. Who is the people that get to go in your room, get your trash, clean up stuff? The janitorial people. who also has the big carts with all their cleaning supplies that they can put a body into, walk away, pull out, and put up an attic when it's less busy. Like, I know what you're saying. Hospitals are always busy, Bill. Hospitals are always busy. Emergency rooms are always busy in hospitals. Most hospitals has visiting hours. Once it hits that certain time, people ain't allowed to be in there no more. And if they are, you get like one or two people that are staying with you. That neither one of these two had anyone staying with them. Matter of fact, the one had no one visit him in the 2 days that he was missing before they was like, hey, we need to get in contact with his family. So evidently, they wasn't allowed visitors in the part of the hospital he was at. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that she walked out. She could have been talking to a doctor or something outside that door, not even thinking about it, seeing the janitorial staff come in. Could have walked in there. Put a bag around him. That's what I was doing. I don't know why I didn't say it. Bag around his head, suffocating. Night, night, bruh. Slide him into the cleaning supply thing that they push around. Get him to a part of the hospital. Get him up in there. Put him up in the corner. Walk away. Nobody'd ever know. And he might have left one hospital, stopped working at one, and started working at the other. Or the hospitals could bring in a cleaning service to clean. Some hospitals do that. Do. Some hospitals do that. They'll hire an outside cleaning contract. They'll come in, they'll clean. So they could have a contract with that hospital and the other hospital, and just so happens that person was working. Someone needs to look into that shit. I ain't never going to a damn hospital again though. Bet money. I don't care if I'm dying in the middle of the damn floor. Hospital can come to me. I'll screw my attic shut though. I would have just took him down to the boiler though. I mean, why hide him in an attic? If you're going to go through all that trouble, just take him down to the boiler, open it up, throw him in. What about your day? There's all kinds of ways you can get rid of someone in a hospital. That's why I'm scared of them. Any medicine you can think of that put someone night night for the rest of their life, hospital's got. I ain't dealing with that shit. Just shove straight air into your IV. Not even gonna show up on nothing. I ain't dealing with that. Nope. Get some Nurse Ratchet kind of shit going on. Kiss my ass. Alright, everyone. If you enjoyed today's video as much as I enjoyed today's video, please leave a thumbs up. If you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, deranged things that just make you go, I ain't going to the fucking hospital. I don't care what you say. I watched this MrBallen video. Man, I ain't getting on a plane. I ain't getting in a boat. I ain't driving in a car. I ain't walking out my house. I'm not staying in my house. I'm going to build me a 4 foot by 8 foot little bunker underneath the ground. That's going to just be stock loaded with things that I personally dehydrate myself. And that's where I'm living rest of my life. Think about subscribing. I guarantee you, we'll be out there digging that hole together. No, we wouldn't. I've seen MrBallen video where, something bad happens that way too. Dig the hole on your own.